Guess who's just joined us? In studio, no less, Congressman Louie Gohmert, Republican from First Congressional District, I believe, isn't it? In Texas?
Number one.
There you go.
Number one in your heart.
You're going to stick around, too. Great to have you here.
It's always great to be had, especially
always. Thank you very much. All right, you watched John Kerry there, and you probably saw his speech yesterday. What was your impression?
It took me right back to the Seinfeld episode where George Costanza figures out that if he just will do everything opposite, he'll be right on everything. But this administration has never figured out what George Costanza did, that they're exactly wrong on everything. They're doing what might be called gaslighting. Oh, you think Israel is our friend? No, they're our enemy. You think we should worry about Iran? We're going to give them money. We're going to help them. I mean, whatever they do, they try to get you to think you're crazy, that the opposite is really true. I mean, for heaven's sake, with all of the damage that this administration has done in the Middle East, I mean, you know, saying that the Muslim Brotherhood president in Egypt was the right person, well, no, the opposite's true. You don't want a Muslim brother president there. Saying we have to take out Gaddafi and create chaos there, no, the opposite is true. You don't take... I mean, this administration has been the opposite of right on every issue, and turning on Israel at this point, it just is, unfortunately, icing on a very explosive cake.
But Donald Trump's coming in 20-odd days.
Yes.
And you're hopeful that that can all be turned around.
Well, I'm not just hopeful. I mean, this week my staff and I are working on a couple of bills. One, to hold back any payments whatsoever to the UN until they rescind the vote that Obama apparently pushed.
Because the U.S. puts in almost 25% of the UN
if
budget.
We're not there. And then also looking at, and I looked at the situation of the UN. Yes, it's very prime real estate, but apparently the Rockefellers had owned that, and it went to the UN only for so long as it remained the major headquarters. So if we cancel visas for all of the diplomats, then it can't remain the headquarters, and then it goes back to the Rockefeller Foundation.
You're not going to introduce a bill for that, though.
Well, we're looking at it because this is so outrageous. I mean, who would have dreamed that this quickly, less than 75 years after the end of World War II, that we would be moving in the same direction of going after the Jews. I mean, and playing this scenario. Thank God Donald Trump's coming in. We don't have to go there. But hopefully we can undo. The other thing is, and the other thing is to basically take the language the Democrats used in '74 to say it'll be a crime if you use any federal money from any source to continue to help in Vietnam. Well, it'll be a crime if you use federal money from any source to treat the Palestine as an independent state. We need to stop this guy from going the next step and trying to create World War III as he's going out. I know he's the only president we've ever had that think it'd be a promotion to be UN General Secretary. We can't let him... You know, we've had firemen that do this. They set the fire, and thank God it's just the tiniest of the tiniest.
And then show up to put it out.
And then show up so they can be the hero.
Right.
He wants to go in as a UN General Secretary, put out the fire that he started.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Louie, you're here for the whole hour, so it's
scary
great
stuff. Isn't it?
It is. Look, you're staying here with us, Louie. We're not letting you go. Now this, the Obama family is known for their vacations. Mr. Obama loves his golf. But, Adam, how much is all of this costing the taxpayers? We ask this a lot of other presidents as well.
Watch actually calculated and tabulated what the vacations have cost since President Obama and family first moved to Washington. The figure right now is $85 million, but it is expected to rise this latest jaunt to Hawaii. Perhaps. Fly Southwest. You know, $90 million at the end of the administration. One of the differences, though, more expensive than George Bush's 2 terms in office. Part of it is that the Bush family had their vacation home in Crawford and would go there. And the Secret Service, once they made the upgrades,
investment, yeah.
So perhaps Donald Trump could be convinced to do those upgrades to Mar-a-Lago, and that's the only place to go. Don't put your money on it. But it's about $90 million for the Obama family vacation.
$85 million, money well spent, Mr. Gohmert? I know what you get. No.
I guess any money we spend getting Obama away from the seat of power is money well spent.
By the way, he's taken less vacation time than George Bush.
So it could have been more money. So
yeah,
we
but
should be
look where
thankful
Bush
for that.
went. He went to Crawford.
Right.
It didn't cost us much of anything to go to Crawford.
All right, let's take a quick check of the markets. The Dow 30 stocks for you. We've just been bumbling along. We're up 29 points. Of course, we lost over 100 yesterday, but a lot more green than red, which means more stocks going up than down, but it's all very muted on this, the second last trading day of the year. And this, George Soros, financier of the left, predicting what a Trump presidency will look like. Here's a hint. He's not a fan. We'll respond to his... As we come back, let's not forget about gold. Up nearly $7 now at $1,147 per troy ounce, up about 0.5% on the day. Now this, billionaire and staunch Democrat George Soros writing an open letter warning that Donald Trump will destroy democracy. He says, quote, although Trump has toned down his rhetoric since he was elected, his cabinet comprises incompetent extremists and retired generals. Trump will have greater affinity with dictators. That will allow some of them to reach an accommodation with the U.S. and others to carry on without interference. Trump will prefer making deals to defending principles. Unfortunately, that will be popular with his core constituency. You know what? Sour grapes, these people, they always know best, even though Donald Trump won. By the way, he won, get over it. And then you have someone who's got all of this money that just, won't even give the guy a chance.
Well, let's go back. What sources said, you just heard, the opposite is true. Seriously.
The Costanza theory.
George Costanza, that's this administration. The opposite is true. This administration has been the best friend that dictators have ever had in a U.S. president. The best.
Yeah.
And Trump will be just the opposite. So they're, again, trying to gaslight. No, that's not the case. No, it is. Trump is going to be the best friend that democratic republics around the world have ever had. And there are precious few of them, and it does include Israel. But look at this president. I mean, my gosh, he has been the best friend of the worst dictators. Look, whether it's Castro's in Cuba, Venezuela, he wanted to be, his buddy Chavez, the mullahs in Iran, they could never have prayed to Allah for a better friend.
What are all those countries thinking now as Donald Trump gets ready to take the helm?
I know
they're shaking in their boots a little bit?
Yeah, the countries that used to be our friends have told me over the last 2 years, we can't wait for this guy to be out. We're hoping we survive with this guy in until your next president. And they were hoping it would not be Hillary Clinton. So I think things are looking up. So Soros says he's going to be friends of dictators. Just the opposite. Yeah. The world has never looked so good.
Oh, that's a nice place to finish right there. On the campaign trail, by the way, Donald Trump criticized Hillary Clinton for not holding a news conference. Now, Trump says he will hold one in early January. Why that long wait? We'll get into that. And the holiday shopping season could have been the best in years. A big driver behind that? No surprise here. Online shopping. More Varney next. All right, we have the big tech names that we like to follow for you every day, and they're just in a sea of red right now. Nothing too dramatic. Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet / Google, down about, 1/3%. My eyes are not great. Netflix also down about 0.5% in today's market, even though the Dow itself up 28 points. During the election, President-elect Trump slamming Hillary Clinton for her lack of news conferences. Hiding, he said. She's not wanting to get out there. She's, napping at one point, he said. But now it's been several months since Donald Trump himself has held a press conference. Boris Epstein, or Stein, I get it wrong every time.
Yes, you do.
Hi, Boris, how are you? You're on the Trump inaugural communications director, so you're trying to put all of the big party together. Listen, Donald Trump says he's going to hold a news conference in January. He has been a bit shy. We know he doesn't like the media. And you know what? In many cases, with good reason, as it turns out, as WikiLeaks revealed. But he hasn't really taken questions from reporters in a proper news conference. Why is that?
Well, he just did a press gaggle a few days ago, and he's been out there connecting with the American people constantly. So he'll continue to do that throughout the transition, and then, of course, once he becomes president on January 20th, which we're planning for here at the inaugural committee.
So how's the planning going? It's going to be a big party. Of course, we're hearing all the negative headlines. A lot of the A-list, if you like, entertainers, performers, singers don't want to have anything to do with the inauguration. How would you respond?
Well, Ash, you know, it's not a party. It's not Woodstock. It's not Coachella. It's not Burning Man. It's an inauguration. And we're planning an event that's solemn, that's, of course, exciting, and that's a celebration. But it's all about the people. It's not about any one celebrity or any one performer. And, you know, those people who are out there trying to press on with negative news, that's their prerogative. But they're doing so at the expense of honoring the peaceful transition of power, which is the bedrock of American democracy.
Good point. We're not going to see Bruce Springsteen. We know that. But we are going to see...
Too bad. Big tear. Big tear.
But we are going to see Cardinal Dolan from right here in New York. Is that right?
That's right. Cardinal Dolan, Rabbi Marvin Iyer, and then we've got other religious leaders from around the country from diverse backgrounds. We've got Paula White. We've got really, really, really wonderful folks coming to celebrate America. The religious leaders coming to take part in the swearing-in ceremony. Bishop Jackson from Detroit, who was part of that visit to Detroit, visit to the inner city.
Yes.
By at that point the candidate Donald J. Trump, now President-elect Donald J. Trump, back in September. So we have, again, a diverse representation of religious leaders, and then there will be also a national prayer the next day with a even wider representation of religious leaders from all backgrounds, all life, all faiths.
You know, Boris, you're in the inner circle, if that's what you want to call it. How's the transition going? Mr. Trump said at first, well, it's not going that smoothly, but then just yesterday said, well, I spoke with President Obama on the phone he was in Hawaii, and you know what, he's a good guy, everything's fine. How would you describe it?
I think it's going fine. You know, the transition is a complicated process, right? The federal government is a big place. The administration is about 4,000 jobs, if not more. So it's a process, but it's going fine. There's a lot of mutual respect between President Obama and President-elect Donald Trump. Of course, disagreements on a big number of policies, but nevertheless, mutual respect.
Boris, we've been talking to you for a long time, back when Donald Trump first got into this whole thing. Must be an exciting time for you, too. How is it in D.C.?
Ashley, it's great. You know, I remember there was a day in March, I think, when Stewart said, you're a brave guy to me for supporting Donald Trump. I'm proud to have done so for a long time, proud to work for a great man, and proud now to be working to put on a uniting inaugural. And that's really representative of the thoughts and message coming from the President-elect and the Vice President-elect.
Yeah, I remember when Stewart said that. More power to you, and look where you are now, as they say. The rest is history. Boris Epstein, I'll get it right one day. Thank you so much for joining us, Boris. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Ashley.
I'll look for my invite
holidays.
to the inauguration in the mail. Congressman Gohmert still with us. God bless him. Congress back in session January 3rd, I believe. Yep. Isn't that a bit earlier than normal?
It is a bit earlier than normal.
Why is that?
Well, we have a president coming in that we're going to be able to work with, and he's going to work with us. And I do remember one of my Democratic friends, and yes, I have them, came back, and she's more liberal, but she's a very honest individual. And I said, you look angry. And she said, I couldn't believe it. We've been carrying this president's water for months, and we go to sit down and have a meeting with him in the East Room, and he comes out and he read to us from teleprompter. I couldn't believe it.
Seriously?
Yeah, Obama read to the Democrats from a teleprompter. Well, that's not going to be happening. We're going to be having good audiences with the president, and we're going to get some good stuff passed. We're going to get some bad stuff repealed. And so I'm really looking forward to it. But I was just thinking while he was talking, Ryan was talking, in January of 2001, I had a brother Bill in Beltsville, Maryland. I said, oh, thank God, Bush has won the election. Let's go to the inaugural. And she said, no, you go with your brother. So my brother and I are out there. We were too far away to really see her here. And it was, but right before the start, it was a D.C. cop. Yeah. And he yelled, ladies and gentlemen. And I thought, oh, no, he's going to tell us we have to move again. And he said, if you will look over here to the north. And there was a line of black limousines. He said, you will see. And he put his hands over his head and said, the last Clinton motorcade. And everybody went nuts. But I was so amazed. This is a Union line cop. And thank God he was right. We came very close to that not being the last Clinton motorcade. So it's a good day for Washington, D.C., and it's going to be even better than 20th.
The ultimate non-politician, what do you think about that? I mean, Donald Trump has no political experience, and yet he wins all the way to the White House.
But we're hoping that Obama will learn from him that when you're not president, don't have press conferences. That's a really good idea, and hopefully Obama will learn something
He's
from
not
that.
going to go quietly into the night, is he?
Yeah, well, this is one place we wish he would. Please, please go quietly into that good night. Rage against the power to think you're right.
Waxing poetic, Louie Gohmert. Love it stuff. Very good stuff. All right, President-elect Trump reportedly considering privatizing the Veterans Affairs Department. We talked a little bit about this earlier, Adam, but, we got to fix it, right?
Got to fix it. We have an obligation to the men and women who've served our country. But now let me tell you about who's opposed to this. Earlier the month, the American Legion, Vietnam Veterans of America, and Paralyzed Veterans of America held a press conference, and they said they would oppose attempts to privatize the Veterans Affairs Department. But a member of the Trump transition team has actually said to reporters that this is under consideration to privatize portions, if not all, of the Veteran Affairs Department.
Interesting.
And give the men and women who are covered by this health care choices in their coverage. Because we know, Cheryl was talking about her stepfather's had a good experience at Phoenix, which is the epicenter of the scandal of the men and women who died on waiting lists. But when you look at, the administration brought in people to fix this problem, and yet Phoenix and other hospitals that in the VA's own rating system get a 1, which is the worst rating you can get, they still get a rating of a 1.
We have a congressman right here. Louie, what do you think about that proposal?
Well, I think it could be good. I'm hearing more and more members of Congress that are just saying, for heaven's sake, this is so broken. Our veterans deserve better. Just give them a card. Let them go anywhere that they want to go. Whatever's
almost like a voucher. You can just use it wherever you want.
Let's do right by them. And I hate to keep coming back to it, Ashley, but it is true. What does the president say? It's the opposite. He said he was fixing the VA. He's made it much worse. He was going to end the long lines. Things have gotten worse. I'm not hearing anybody that just seen this president help things at the VA.
Hopefully that's going to improve.
Oh, gosh, it couldn't get worse.
Exactly. All right, now this. Looking to be a great year for U.S. retailers, thanks to what is turning out to be a bumper holiday season. Lauren?
Yeah, in the beginning we were a little lukewarm on how strong this holiday season would be. In the final week or so, the retail changing their expectations for the holiday shopping season and the final numbers, and they're saying it could be the best season in about a decade.
Wow.
Here's why.
Is that right?
2 reasons. Procrastinators. I mean, Amazon was letting you order stuff until like 9:45 at night the day before.
Yes.
So you have the procrastinators, the ease of online shopping, and we've been speaking about this festive spirit. Things are getting better. Paychecks are growing. There's optimism out there. Food costs, gas prices are down. You disagree?
You want me to throw rain on this parade?
Come on, Elon. Come on.
Yeah, consumer debt. People are using their credit cards again to fund this. That's not a good
thing. Worry about that in January.
Yes.
But the other thing that surprised me, as popular as Amazon is, there are 22 million U.S. households who do not buy a single thing on Amazon all year. With that said, are you one of those?
Do you buy anything on Amazon, Congressman?
Yeah, I did.
You did. You did. Don't apologize.
19,999,000.
That's a good thing for the brick and mortars, though.
I was looking for other online places to buy, but ended up having to go to Amazon.
Like 1 minute to midnight and Christmas Eve. Yeah.
No. Actually, it's not a bad way to shop online.
And you get
but look for other things besides Amazon.
The deals are, not shilling for Amazon. Have you been to the fulfillment centers, but the deals are pretty good. And if you've got you could get the $99 Prime for free for 30 days, which a lot of people did to get their Christmas gifts shipped free, and then they canceled Prime. So they didn't
But it sure does help to help brick and mortar. You know, they're the ones that sponsor the Little League teams.
That's very true.
Help the Girl Scouts and all. You know,
it's a tough go for them.
Yeah.
I forgot about
It's got a kind heart, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's who sponsors the Little League teams.
Let's check the big board.
We knew we liked him.
Before we get too mortal, and let's check the big board now. The Dow trading, well, whoopee, up 10 points. Of course, we had that big loss yesterday, down more than 100 points. So, you know, look, Dow 20,000, we're now 156 points away. It's not going to happen. At least it doesn't. Adam says I was right again. And gun violence in Chicago, we know, running rampant. Donald Trump said he will restore law and order. Remember this?
Law and order. We have to obey the laws or we don't have a country.
We will restore law, order, and justice in America. Justice.
What is love? A first date?
A long walk? Maybe it's a kiss.
To each of us, the word love means many different things.
But there's a place where love
has a very special meaning. Shriners Hospitals for Children.
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, love is Brendan running the bases.
Love is Camilla playing cello in the quartet.
Just $19 a month from people like you help Shriners Hospitals for Children help kids like me.
When you call the number on your screen and give just $19 a month,
that's only 63 cents a day.
You are showing a child what love really is.
Even a dollar gives a child the gift of hope.
Right now, there are children just like me who need the life-saving help of Shriners Hospitals for Children. Will you let them know you care with a gift of just 63 cents a day? When you call today, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Because of you, I can run. Because of you, I can play the cello.
Please call or go online right now.
And send your love to the rescue.
If operators are busy, please call again or go online to loveshriners.org.
Your call says you care.
A good Thursday morning to you. The Israeli government slamming the Obama administration for defending its position on settlements. Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters calls those against Israel out of touch.
Israel is an island of civilization, of our civilization, surrounded by brutal states and barbarous societies. Only Israel has women's rights, the rule of law, property rights, serious education, civil societies, prosperity, and for all the oil money that's poured into the Middle East, you have a vast wasteland beyond Israel's borders. Stand up on a hilltop, a mountaintop in northern Israel. You can tell where the Arab world begins because the green turns brown. And so Israel has earned its keep, and the haters, the Israel haters on the far left, are utterly out of touch.
Look, you can refinance and pull cash out of your house with absolutely no closing costs. Why are you paying high interest rates for a car loan, credit card, or anything else you can think of? Your house is your bank. Make the cash call at 855-890-CASH.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-579-9625.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health is improved, it's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh. Try Try So Clean risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited time offer, only available by calling 1-800-579-9625 or visiting SoClean.com.
QuickBooks introduces Jeanette and her new mobile wedding business. At first, getting paid was tough until she got QuickBooks. Now she sends invoices, sees when they've been viewed, and ta-da, paid twice as fast. See how at QuickBooks.com.
12 people dead, more than 50 hurt in gun violence in Chicago just this past weekend. This uptick in violence, of course, hurting police. This year, 62 officers have been killed in gun-related violence. That, by the way, almost double last year's number. Let's go now to Detective Steve Loomis, a frequent guest of the show. Detective, those are very disturbing numbers. What do you put that down to?
The Ferguson effect, plain and simple. The lack of support of the Obama administration for law enforcement across this country has absolutely handcuffed police officers. We're no longer proactively policing the neighborhoods that really need us the most. And that's heartbreaking to the cops out there. I know these guys want to go out and do that job, but we're willing to take the risks that are inherent to the job, the life limb risks, the physical injuries, but we can't go out there and risk civil lawsuits and politically charged prosecutions, premature prosecutions. We're just not going to do it.
Well, Chicago's police chief said that the criminals and those behind the shootings have been emboldened, empowered, if you like, by a public perception that the police are always in the wrong, and it's kind of that the public sentiment is on the criminal side. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Chief McCarthy he's able to say the things that he can say now because he's moved on in his career, but he's not saying anything that any police chief wouldn't tell you if they could. Certainly every police union president would be able to tell you the same thing. The resources, we've been treated as a necessary evil in this country for the last 8 years. Our resources have been diminished. We don't have the boots on the street that we need to have to do the job the right way. And the perfect example, sir, is the success we had in the RNC. We proved without doubt that when you have enough police officers to do the job and do the job the right way, great things happen. And that's exactly what we saw at the RNC, and I hope that that's what Mr. Trump is going to bring back to us.
Well, that was my next question to you, Steve. Do you think Donald Trump can put in some sort of effective strategy that will address this problem?
Absolutely. He's going to be able to start with the Department of Justice, with the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office. Right now, they're treating us as criminals and the bad guys out here. Hopefully, in January 20th, that's going to change. Certainly resources, federal resources. We're sending trillions of dollars everywhere else in the world. We can send a little bit of money to the cities, the cash-strapped cities that need the resources, the bodies on the street, the cars, the equipment. We all want to buy into community empowered policing. We want to get back out into the communities. We can't do that, especially here in Cleveland. We're going from run to run to run. We want to be able to spend some time in the neighborhoods and get to know the people in those neighborhoods, and we can't do that right now.
Well,
and
hopefully,
if that doesn't change, nothing's going to change.
Right. Well, hopefully that will change. Steve Loomis, detective with the Cleveland Police Department. As always, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Have a good New Year.
Yes, you too, sir. Let's bring in Louie Gohmert. Look, Chicago alone is just an absolute mess. The president's hometown, and they just can't seem to get a handle on it. And to the detective's point, the public, the police don't have the not only from those in charge that can give them the help, but often the public perception.
Yeah, and the public has known, and especially had it reinforced after 9/11, that first responders, police, law enforcement, they are our friends. And having been a prosecutor and a felony judge, I saw it firsthand. Yes, police are made of human beings, and so they're going to be a bad apple. But the percentage of bad apples among law enforcement is so much smaller than the general population. So what does Obama do? If he says the police acted stupidly, then the opposite's true. They did exactly the right thing. And when he says we're going to bring down gun violence, it got worse. He was, we're going to end gun violence. The first thing they do is get 2,000 guns to the drug cartels. So it's going to be refreshing. I was on a plane and I ended up, I was asking a guy next to me in the middle seat what he did. It's like he was embarrassing. Policeman. I'm looking forward to the day when Trump's president and somebody will be proud again, and we won't have the federal government. Look, this president's done for law enforcement what Carter did for education, just right near destroyed it.
Well, all right, we'll have to leave it on that point. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. You're going to be on the,
so great to be
You're
with
going to be
you.
on the Fox News radio station this afternoon.
I'm going to be, Sean Hannity has me substituting today.
Fantastic. That would be fun.
Can't really substitute for Sean. But
no, but you're going to be a great fill-in. I know that. Thank you, Congressman. So let's get out to Cook County in Illinois.